Greetings and welcome. My name is Michael Miller. This is a Michael Miller trademark training video out to you because you're watching. Thank you and welcome. It's meant for Michael Miller Pilates licensed affiliates, licensed presenters, the Core New Core, my patrons. Thank you to all my new patrons. Thank you, thank you. I'm sensing I'm reaching up. I'm sensing the surface above me. And it's meant for anybody interested in surviving and thriving as a Pilates instructor and student. That's all within the course, the point of view of what that means. The point of view being the point of view of MMP, which is a brand of Pilates, and it's just one point of view out of yours, mine, and everyone else's. And most of today's broadcast comes from yesterday's comment about an appreciation for me being willing to talk about the abstract, which tickles my fancy, and one of the reasons I think I'm so willing to is that I'm capable of talking about Pilates, see, in the abstract. But that sent me off into number 3, and I've got to get through number 1 and number 2 first. And number 1 is me trying to draw. All right, so I don't want it to look like a face. Here is the old, so there's the old, and inside is the new, N for new. And when you end up here, the old ends up a smaller part of the population than what was new before. A Venn diagram, is that what that is? In the history of Pilates, it's more like this is folklore, which would be all of the knowledge. See, it's always about knowledge, and there's two kinds of knowledge. Now I'm really off and running and nothing that's going to make sense. Folklore and theory. Let's call, say, TH. Folklore and theory are both knowledge. And so when I talk about valuable information and the relationship over time between our knowledge that's old versus knowledge that's new, evolves into the broader knowledge encompassing the old. The old doesn't go away, and what defines it as what it is doesn't go away. It just gets overwhelmed by the tsunami of passion for Pilates, and that makes Pilates whatever anybody wants to make of it. That's got to happen for another at least few hundred years. So recognizing that the status quo and what it's gelling into, be aware of information, because knowledge is sometimes attributed to power. and you get knowledge by accessing resources, and from your will of accessing those resources, you gain the knowledge from the effort, right? That wanted to slip in there. So in number 1, I'm putting the valuable information, because I heard that on TV. Somebody had valuable information. Now I talk about knowledge all the time, but we could go off and discuss the difference and the refinements between information and knowledge, but just making a comparison or a similarity between the two, what determines when information is valuable? What determines when knowledge is valuable? I might guess off the top of my head when you can make use of it. And so in your knowledge of the information or the information about core new tension, which is a biomechanics thing, and a point of view of Pilates, which is just a very narrow, precise definition of Pilates, the knowledge of those two things matters if it can help you in your pursuit of doing and teaching Pilates. So my number 2 is wake up. Wake up. Woke is a trendy Geist word, and referring to being woke or not in the culture. Well, in the Pilates world, I'm saying wake up, see beyond the Pilates that you are familiar with, which is folklore by nature, word of mouth, lineages, those who knew Joe and the knowledge that they pass on. But there's also an ability to look at Pilates theoretically and seek an explanation that might define what it is, if there is such a thing. See, does Pilates even have an essence of its own? That's a spectrum, and it will always occupy the whole part of the spectrum, and to the extent that Pilates is merchantable, it will be monetized, making of it whatever they can. If Pilates has an essence of its own, those who are familiar with that end of the spectrum will at least be able to discern how Pilates disintegrates as it gets monetized. Maybe that's not true, but at least erodes or disintegrates. Disintegrates is a pretty strong word. So number 3. From Deborah yesterday on Facebook Live, she thanked me for being willing to talk about the abstract. And that set me off into what is the definition of abstract, because I wanted to know how I felt about that. And from Google, abstract means existing in thought or an idea, but not having a physical or concrete existence. So abstract is existing in thought or as an idea, but not having physical or concrete existence. And that didn't suit right with me. And so I went from 320 to where did the abstraction come from? Or what is the abstraction based in? And I got to this point where the MMP you might consider to be an abstraction that is based on this book, MMP, as a point of view, says that Pilates is an experience. And that experience, in the embodiment of that experience, it's not abstract. It's concrete. It's physical. And so that brought me to an opinion that MMP is concrete Pilates. It's physical Pilates. It is what it is based on moving. So 40, 50. I covered that, and Abstraction is an interpretation of Joe's book. And then it's not an abstraction. And I'm talking about Pilates from the MMP point of view. It's not an abstraction because it has a physical, concrete existence. And that's where the title comes from. Pilates exists in moving. So I started there and finished there in this title. Pilates exists within the moving. And in the moving, you pursue complete coordination of your capabilities in your being, thinking, and observing. And that in striving for that, there's an experience that I associate with, and seems others do as well. But it may take a while to get attuned to or develop the capacity of coordinating capacities, especially when capacities are really lopsided in the range of capability within the individual. They're all in their mind and they don't listen. They're all in their sensation and thinking is immaterial to the matter. So, valuable information is like valuable knowledge, and your knowledge of CT and MMP, not everybody's going to appreciate, but your ability to offer it as a presentation and make the money not as important as just the willingness for someone to pay for what you have to explain or to offer, the information that you've got. And so in my conclusion, not everyone is going to value the information that you have, the knowledge that you have to share. That's where knowing how to add two and two and make an offer, to explain or share information, is how you survive. I feel like I've glossed right over how important it is to recognize that Pilates exists in the moving. And it's in the moving that you find the state of being in the body in the moment of the doing, the experience of Pilates. And that is the attraction that everyone is being drawn toward, whether they are aware of it or not, my opinion. So, Michael Miller Pilates is not abstract in that it's talking about something that is not physical or concrete in existence. Michael Miller Pilates is concrete. It's physical. It's sensational. And it happens in the moving. The concreteness is in the expression of the human being moving in a particular way, in a particular manner, coordinated in their being, thinking and observing, listening to the sensation they get off of their effort to refine the depth of their control while they pursue the expression of the choreography. Life can't live forever. Read between the lines and see behind the curtain. Connect the dots. Wake up. See behind the curtain. See behind the curtain. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Evaluate points of view. And then try it for yourself to make an offer and let your opinion of at least the value of the information you have, let the buyer decide for themselves. See? But until you make an offer, there's no interaction. As soon as you make an offer, it becomes about money. And that's part of the karma of exchanging value for value. Direct your thinking. Geist.